I was preparing for this episode and it says not done next to it because I was so stressed out about it. So I was like, oh, well, the perfectionism episode has to be perfect.
I work with you and I'm married to you. So I actually greatly appreciate
my neuroses.
Your neuroses,
That's
your
good.
perfectionism.
I
actually
appreciate
do.
that. That's nice to hear.
Because my life is just constantly beautiful and orderly because of you all the time. I'm actually entering into the spirit of the perfectionist mindset right now. And I'm thinking as I hear that, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but the help isn't good enough.
The more complexity I would add, it would just be like me doing more work. So
You
it's
probably
like,
became good at a lot of things.
I became very good at a lot of things. And as a result, a bit of a basket case because I'm doing so many freaking things.
Hey, I'm Dave Conway, and I'm here with my wife, Jacqueline. Welcome to the 30-Day Year podcast. Here, we explore ideas, philosophies, and real stories to help you take your annual income and turn it into your monthly income. Join us each week as we challenge conventional thinking around success, business growth, and building a life of true freedom. This podcast is created with your growth in mind. To help us reach more people and to make sure you never miss an episode, please like and subscribe. Let's get started. So today, Jacq, I want to talk about a topic that is near and dear to your heart, and it's an issue that you've actually have to work on vigilantly, and you have to work on it to overcome it, and it's perfectionism. And I'd like to dig into it because I think a lot of the listeners, some of our listeners do suffer with perfectionism.
For sure. I think most or all type A women struggle with perfectionism. And I think there's a lot of them likely listening to the show or in our client base or in our circle because I'm one of those women. So they've probably been attracted into our sphere because of that. So,
yeah. So for you, like, what is perfectionism for you today? Or do you...
Well, I think it's an illusion that we can get it right before you even start. Or that it has to be just like flawless in order for it to be like understood or like fulfilled or properly enjoyed. And it can drive you like effing nuts because it's like you want it to be just this like immaculate thing. And in my life and in my journey and all the things I've ever done, it's like, well, perfection it's just unattainable. There's always going to be hiccups and flaws, and the flaws is what really makes something great sometimes or interesting. And so it's like this whole like releasing of fear that it says something about you if you don't execute it to like an impossible standard. And the truth is that if you even want to execute something to an impossible standard, it will still probably be quite excellent. And so you really have to give yourself a break. And it's not to, I would say, relinquish your desire and want for high standard. It's not that. It's that like fear of what others will think if it isn't at that standard. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think that's the constant battle.
So are you a perfectionist?
Oh gosh, of course. I was preparing for this episode and it says not done next to it because I was so stressed out about it. So I was like, oh, well, the perfectionism episode has to be perfect, which is like totally nuts.
When did you first like find out that you were a perfectionist?
Well, like birth? I don't know. I think it's always been there.
If you're loving this content, hit the like and subscribe button and help us get this 30-day year message out. Does it have a negative impact on a person?
Well,
it's like a double-edged sword in my mind.
I mean, I'll have to dig into like the archives there to really figure out when it became negative. But I know that as a child, I would be very like committed to making my room tidy. And I would spend like hours in my room, like trying to organize it, like to the point where it felt perfect. And I don't know a lot of people that were doing that at like age 9 and 10, but like I was. And that just carried through. Like in my work as a dance teacher, I just always wanted my groups to be just like spick and span, like so tight, precise, like super, really well done. And I would say like always were. They were always at a high standard. And that's probably because of the dance teacher I had growing up had a very high standard. And so that just went right into me and tapped into my little like neuroses in my mind. And I was like, oh yes, let's make things like psychotically like precise. And then it's just followed me through in my career in marketing and now working in business with you and wanting to make everything as good as it can be is really where it comes from. But yeah. And, I've done a lot of like my own soul searching about perfectionism, and I've read big books about it from psychologists that work with people, I would say, like very much like me. And what I've come to terms with is that it's not going anywhere. I don't think that this little personality tick I have is ever going to leave me. And the key is that I embrace it as a strength and keep it on like the positive side of perfectionism, which is upholding high standards, asking more of others, having high expectations, but not to the point where it sacrifices my own like mental health or like my ability to be kind or
go to sleep
or sleep at night or like succumbing to a significant fear in order to achieve a standard that is just not achievable. So it's like finding this like dance between, yes, you have this sort of tendency. Let's like use this in a positive way and not in a way that's going to like drag you down.
So it's almost like as if like there's a healthy perfectionism and an unhealthy perfectionism.
Yes.
Could you call it like that?
Yep. That's exactly
Describe it like that?
For sure.
When did you first sort of realize, or let me ask you this question. Have you ever had an unhealthy level of perfectionism?
Of course. I would say that this is an interesting thing, but I've always been in environments in work where I've had big deadlines. And so I think that, when I was in my 20s, let's say, I'd have like a huge project I'd be working on and then I would want to make it so perfect, and I'd want to have thought of every potential outcome or angle that I may want to have approached in that project. So if it's like an event, for example, I want to have like the best possible media team, and I want to like put together the best possible strategy that's going to maximize. It is good to maximize the access at that time, and then I want to have like the best possible outcomes in every single stage of the process, which is not bad. However, where it got, I would say, like toxic or unhealthy is when like the pressure of that was like too much for my like nervous system and my like just my, I would say, my capacity to like withstand. And so then I think there's
like
this
the
like
pressure
the
or
pressure.
the pressure of the perfectionism.
Yeah. So it's like I'm the lead. So for
Perfectionism
example,
creates pressure, doesn't it?
yeah, oh yeah, we create the problem. So like like when I would be running this event, I'd be the one coming up with all the stuff we had to do. It was my decision, and then therefore I'm putting all this pressure on me, and it's like, oh, you know that like we've always done it this way too, right? You could do it this way. It's like no, we got to do it this way.
You became a bully.
Well, not a bully, but I would want to enhance things. And it's not that people around me were getting like stepped on. That's not what was happening. It was that I would see how things were done and I'd be like, you know what? I want to like take the way media management is going and I want to like 10x our results and I want to like make it better. So that means I want to like hire more people. I want to like employ more work out there. But it's the second you come up with more work to do and you don't have, let's say, the budget to hire someone to do some of that work, well, you're doing the work.
Right.
So the more complexity I would add, it would just be like me doing more work.
So you probably became good at a lot of things.
I became very good at a lot of things. And as a result, a bit of a basket case because I'm doing so many freaking things. And so that I'm like, I don't want to swear, but yes, like this is too much. Like, why am I doing so much? And so then it would all come to a head. So there'd be like so much, all these projects that I had to do all come to a head at the same time. And so then I just developed these like poor work habits as a result of that.
Kind of coping, right?
Yeah. And so has that tendency left from me to like make things better every single time I do them? Absolutely not. I'm obsessed with making things better all the time. I love refining things all the time. It's impossible for me to rinse and repeat something. Like we would have this like, dream that, oh, we're going to make one webinar and we're going to do the same webinar for a year. Like that has yet to happen because we will come up with a webinar and then I'll think of at least 25 ways that I can make it better the next time we do it. So it's
And
not,
that's good, I think.
it is good. And so what I've really learned is that, okay, so if I'm going to be this way, if this is my tendency to like have the inability to just like rinse and repeat something, if I always have to make it better, well, then I have to be honest with like how much time it takes and then how am I going to get help in order to execute properly so that it's not at the cost of my own like sleep at night.
Yeah, your
Does
own
that
health.
make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you say that like when perfectionism becomes unhealthy, that it would be rooted in like fear?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think we touched on that a little bit too, but yeah, for sure. It's like fear of not being enough or fear of disappointing people. I'm thinking about the 7 basic fears from Think and Grow Rich, and one of them is like basically like people thinking poorly of you, right?
Yeah, fear of criticism.
I would, that fear of
Do you
criticism.
think that's what it is?
Oh God, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I think for me, is it fear of criticism? I don't think people are going to be like snickering and like criticizing me. Like that's not my fear, but like disappointing people. I would hate to disappoint people. Yeah. Let people down. Or no, criticism for sure. I would have fear of that.
You're in possession of the most powerful force in the universe, a human imagination. Learn how to harness this superpower and grow your business with peace of mind. Visualization isn't just for artists or professional athletes. Great fortunes can be built with it too. Download my free visualization checklist and get started today. What have you done to kind of get on the healthy side of perfectionism for yourself as a self-diagnosed?
Self-diagnosed. Yeah, I haven't been to a psychologist, although I'm sure if one of a psychologist watching this, they'd be like, yeah, she's like textbook. But I would say that the way I've just begun to cope with it is manage it. I think I is just to get the help when I need it. If I am going to be wanting to always execute things at a professional level, regardless of what it is, like I just have to get the help to do it. So it's that I'm not willing to sacrifice my standard. I have to just figure out how to get the help to achieve it.
So right now I'm like thinking that I'm listening to this podcast and I'm a perfectionist too, right?
Yeah.
And I'm listening to you and you're saying get some help, like I can get the help, right? But then as I'm sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, because I'm embodying a perfectionist, because I'm not a perfectionist.
You don't understand this mindset at all.
No, so I'm actually entering into the spirit of the perfectionist mindset right now, and I'm thinking as I hear that, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but the help isn't good enough.
Okay, so
how do you handle that?
Yeah, oh, for sure, because you can be perfectionist about the people that come in, and then that can create a whole bunch of other problems. And so, and then you're like, oh, I got to manage this person. And
someone on our podcast team right now is laughing over there. I think she may have the same
tendency. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, me and Greer are like sisters when it comes to this. I think you'd think we were raised by the same mother.
So yeah, how do you deal with?
How do I deal with?
Yeah, with like the help. Getting help.
Well, I think
just gotta find a Greer, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's you get what you pay for. So I think like you maybe have to just spend a bit more money to get somebody that has more experience, that has the right skill set. I always think that is a good move. Pay a premium to get somebody that has what you're looking for, and that tends to go better. Also, I would say this is like I've heard this a few times. And I think that there's a few nuances to it, but that if you're going to hire somebody, they should be able to do what you can do at least 50%. And in my mind, I'm like, well, I'd like to see people get up to at least 80%. And I think that anybody can with the amount, like with the right training, with enough time, with the experience for them to develop the capacity. And so I'd like to have a bit more faith in people that they could at least do it as 80% as well as you, if they're given a chance and if they're properly supported and if you believe in them. And so that's kind of how I look at it. But you could start by replacing someone, like I've heard lots of experts say in business, if you're replacing yourself in a certain aspect of your business, let's say it's copywriting, and you just, I don't know, you have a gift for it, but you just need you need someone to come and help you, look for someone that can do it at least 50% as well as you as a starting point. I think you should shoot higher, and I think you can shoot higher, but that's like what I've heard.
Yeah.
I have shot higher though.
You have?
Yeah.
I heard this analogy. You tell me if this is kind of like perfectionism. I think this is great. So there's a teacher that ran an experiment, and he had 2 classes. And the one class, he gave them each 6 months to design a pot, like a piece of pottery. Mm-hmm. And to the one class, he said to them, okay, you can produce 1 pot. So work 6 months on the same pot. And then with the other class, he said, all right, you're going to go quantity, not quality, quantity. Mm-hmm. But as you produce quantity, every time you produce something, I want you to make it better. So you're going to be making and throwing out. So like there was like thousands of pots that this class produced.
Right.
At the end, who do you think produced?
The second one, the ones that were in a constant state of refinement. I am much more attracted to that style of environment than just trying to perfect the first one.
Yeah.
That's not appealing to me at all.
Yeah, because perfectionism and with you, like, I work with you and I'm married to you. Mm-hmm. So I actually greatly appreciate
my neuroses.
Your neuroses,
That's
your
good.
perfectionism. I actually
appreciate
do.
That. That's nice to hear.
Because my life is just constantly beautiful and orderly because of you all the time.
That's good.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. I don't know if you suffer. I'm not suffering from it.
Well, yeah, it's probably good that you're not, because could you imagine if you had a little bit of what's going on over here? I feel like it would be like constant friction. So I actually think it's to our benefit in marriage that you are not like that. And I actually think you've helped me chill out a lot too, which has been really great.
Right.
Because like certain projects will come up and in my head, I'm like, oh, we have about 15 things to do before that can happen. And then you and Amelia have already gone and done it. And I'm like, oh, so maybe those 15 things didn't need to happen and we could have just done it.
So it's like,
so I appreciate that balance of my like need for, oh, all these things have to line up. And you're actually like, no, we already did that.
Yeah. Oh. So exactly. I think perfectionism becomes unhealthy or negative when something doesn't get produced, because if the value doesn't get produced, then no one gets to experience it. So there is no value.
Yes, for sure.
And I know a lot of people like that. I know a lot of people that are perfectionists. So as you talked about fear, I think the root of it is fear. Is it causing you inactivity? Are you actually just terrified to just present, massive action? And here you are just trying to make everything perfect, like the pottery class for 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think it's like I have this need to like impress people. Like I want them to be impressed with what I can produce. And I don't know if that's good or bad.
Do you think there's a competitiveness inside the perfectionism mindset?
Oh gosh, 100%. 100%. Without a doubt, isn't it obvious? I think it's obvious.
Well, I don't know. You're answering the questions
again, it's
today.
all just like a polarity, Dave. Like there's a good side to that attitude and there's a bad side. And so the perfectionist's like real task here is just to find the balance for themselves so that their need for order and process and, beauty or just proper, precise execution needs to be just coupled with a little bit of just let go and let God.
I think some of your perfectionism is rubbed off on me.
I actually think that too. I was thinking about that last week.
You've made me a neurosis or whatever.
Yeah, you've tapped into my like neurotic brainwaves. That's awesome. In what ways? Can I ask? Like what ways?
Oh, I just yeah. Once you touch the good stuff, it's hard to go back. I always make the joke like the snob's life is the hardest life because nothing's ever good enough.
Right.
Snobs are like perfectionists.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel that you also have high standards. Like you introduced me to like great coffee. I had no idea what like good coffee was before I met you.
Yeah.
You have very high standards when it comes to sound. And I think most men do. I think SJ and T-Bone will agree that high quality sound is essential. And I've seen high quality sound equipment in both of your homes as well as our home because it's that important. I would have not thought twice about that prior to you. And so I think we all actually have a little touch of perfectionism, neuroses. Everyone probably does. No one gets out alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, same as like the ego gets a bad rap. And I think the perfectionist gets a bad rap, right?
Yeah. Well, because then you're just looked at as like, oh, the uptight one, like,
Yeah.
watch out for that one. She's going to be the uptight one. But yeah, she's uptight, but she'll probably produce something really great too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, surround yourself with these people actually.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but the ego gets
healthy ones.
the ego gets a bad rap. But the thing is the ego itself is great. There's an unhealthy ego and there's a healthy ego. And the healthy
Yes.
ego is the seat of action.
Yeah.
Unhealthy ego is the seat of like arrogance, right?
Yeah.
Your power is drawn, your will is developed through the ego. So ego is not terrible. And the same with perfectionism. That's what I see. It's like, yeah, you could be totally on the one spectrum of it where it's destroying you your entire life. But if leveraged right, it should through a polarity bounce over to the other side.
Yes, for sure. And I think it can serve, for those that are listening that are in bed with this 30-day year idea too, like embrace the perfectionist tendency, but don't let it slow you down. Like, don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for the offer to be perfect. Don't wait for whatever you think needs to happen in order to transpire. Like, adopt a bit of like the Dave and Amelia attitude where it's like, do you actually need to do those 15 things or do you just need to do one thing? And chances are you just need to do the one thing. And so those circumstances, I think, will be clear to whoever needs to hear that. But letting yourself be free sometimes is really important. That it doesn't have to be perfectly flawless. It just needs to get out in the world. And then have the fun with the iteration and the creative process.
Yeah.
So
if you were to give one piece of advice to your fellow perfectionist out there, what would you say?
develop your own personal faith, your own confidence. We did an episode on faith recently. I would listen to that. I would follow the instructions, start studying faith, start reflecting on your life in terms of like what you've achieved and how far you've come and how capable you actually are, and develop that strength from within. And which will therefore, balance out all this fear that might be driving all these perfectionist tendencies. Like the opposite of fear is faith, right? So if fear is driving this need to make everything flawless, then we need to balance that out. And
Right.
studying faith, developing faith is the way.
Yeah. So faith, it'll all work out in the end anyway.
It'll all work out. If this podcast is opening your eyes to powerful new ideas, helping you think bigger, and opening your level of awareness, be sure to hit subscribe right now and leave us a 5-star review. That will help us reach more ambitious people just like you, ready to grow.
Produced at
Sound Lounge by T-Bone.